My name is Lauren, and I'm the Community and Operations Manager for HIP. If you don't know what we do, we're Australia's first startup hub focused on helping startups, entrepreneurs connect and grow into Asia. So we do that by doing a lot of events, workshops, linking them to mentors, and providing them a space to work. So one of our key tenants, I guess, ProximaX is here, and we're very excited to have Wong present to us tonight. I'm not going to take too much of your time. I'll give it to Gemma to introduce him. Take too much of your time.
Thanks, Lauren. Hi, everyone. My name is Gemma Xu. I have two roles. One is I sit on the board at Haymarket HQ, and my daytime job is I work with Wong at ProximaX. So just to give everyone a quick overview of what ProximaX is we are an infrastructure solutions provider combining the NEM Catapult blockchain with off-chain names in storage, streaming, as well as a distributed database. So all together in one platform for design for enterprise applications. Our team is about 40 people, spread mostly in Southeast Asia, but also in Europe and South America. We're very focused on utility and adoption, particularly around enterprise. Some of our use cases, we're working with the Ministry of Community Development in Dubai, rolling out some use cases for them in terms of voting, notarization, enterprise collaboration. Working with a Singaporean company for tracking supply chain management in terms of wine importation into Southeast Asia. So that's sort of our core, the platform is our core product. We've only been around for 9 months. It was founded in April 2018 by Long. Before founding ProximaX, Long was the founding president of the NEM Foundation. Now, the NEM Foundation, he led the NEM network from nothing to a market cap of just under 20 billion at the peak, and also top 5 blockchain projects at the time. So he resigned from NEM Foundation in March 2018 to focus on ProximaX and also to continue to assist NEM in growing its ecosystem. So without further ado, I'll pass the floor to Dr. Wong.
Thank you, Gemma. Very good evening. It's been a long journey, basically, with the ProximaX, but what I'm going to do today is to explain to you in a broad brush manner in what ProximaX can really do and how we would like to take the blockchain industry into this next level of play, which is what we call the next generation, where we could have an agglomeration of technologies put together and putting it out there as a platform, a solution. So let's do a bit of a retrace back to how I started all this. When NEM was started in January of 2014, I was not around. Right? I only came in June of 2014 that year. I've been working on a solution where I needed a blockchain and I needed something that suits the requirement of what I wanted to do, which is payment settlement, mobile payment solution, and basically the fintech industry being driven by the blockchain technology. And that was in 2013 that I was looking at it, and until June 2014, that's when I found that the best technology that could do this business for me would be the NEM technology. And that's when I joined them in June of that year. And what happened was that in March 2015, NEM actually launched its solution, its public chain, and from that day till today, there's no rollback, there's no failure, there was nothing wrong with what the NEM blockchain was built for. So it is a testimony of the world-class developers that we have. And and this is, I have great respect for the core developers of NEM. And the reason why I have great respect for them is that I've interacted very closely with a top programmer, and I believe he's a world-class programmer, and he's been saved by many critics about his work, and it has always been possible. So this is a very important aspect of a world-class development that we would like to see. Being an entrepreneur myself, being an entrepreneur coming in from the old industry, which is bricks and mortar, as well as telecommunication, engineering. This is what we as entrepreneurs would like to see technologies coming out of the blockchain industry to be able to power things correctly and without fail. That's where NEM is today. In March of 2018, NEM actually launched its second iteration, and that second iteration came with the private chain instead of the public chain. So now NEM version 2 has a private chain and it has a public chain, which is version 1, and they're going to migrate the public chain later on this year. This is what I've been told, that they're going to launch the version 2 this year on the public chain. And again, why has it taken so long for the version 2 to be developed? While I was president and while I was leading it, it was more than 2 years almost that the Catapult, which is the version 2, was still not launched. Now that I'm gone for 1 year, it's still not launched. One of the greatest aspects of the development of NEM, again, as I said earlier, is the world-class programmers that we have, and they will never release anything that will fail, right? And this is what is happening. They've been working on it. And why are they coming up with version 2? Version 2 is a complete augmentation of version 1. And it's done in C++, so that it is no more in Java, which is version 1. And one of the reasons for that is that its performance is much better using C++. And they added in a lot more things, and this lot more things include very I wouldn't call it complicated, I would call it complex. From simple to complex, multi-signatory features that we have. And it's very important because this is where escrow can happen online, on-chain, without any intervention from third parties, which means it's decentralized in exchange of assets between two parties. So moving on, in May of 2018, we had the Catapult be open source as a private chain. And this is where it's very important for those who really want to make use of the NEM blockchain technology, because now it's open source, which means you can actually make use of it for your own projects. And ProximaX was launched in April 2001. So it was all coincidental that we launched in 2018, and then it was open source in 2018 by NEM, right? And what we did was, from May of 2018, we actually made use of the NEM blockchain technology as a private chain, and then converted and improved upon it to include things like storage, database, distributed storage, distributed database, as well as streaming that we're going to put it online. So in August of this year, last year, 2018, we finally launched the ProximaX series platform. Now, the word series comes from stars, the suns, right? So Sirius is one of the brightest stars. In fact, the brightest star after the sun that we have today. That's in the solar system. So, and we actually had a proof of concept in October last year. So the journey has been very exciting for me, because as we grow, as we move on, we at ProximaX also have acquired quite a number of great programmers that are able to put things together to what it is today in 2019. So what is Cirrus? What is ProximaX Cirrus? It is a platform. I must emphasize that it is a platform. And what is a platform? This platform is an agglomeration of technologies put together, right, that are proven, and we're not reinventing any of this component. For example, the blockchain technology, a distributed file management system that's put into the platform, the database, decentralized database that is put into the platform, and a streaming layer. So together, what we have done is to put them into one platform, and then we abstract whatever good that comes out of each of these components, forming the platform, and turning them into another layer where we develop the SDKs and APIs for anyone to make use of as a vertical application solution. So basically, we're not a blockchain per se. We are using the blockchain technology as part of our holistic solution for us to develop easily without understanding too much about distributed technologies, but utilizing this platform, this box, to enable themselves and enable their applications so that they can actually now provide services to the market and go to market very quickly. If you look at just blockchain as one vertical in this horizontal stack of verticals that we have, if you needed to, you would require eventually, anyways, a database, some sort of file storage solution, and that's where it becomes a very arduous, long journey to go out to market. The reason is this: if you start to develop and you say, okay, I'm going to use, say, Ethereum, it doesn't matter what blockchain, because we really don't care about blockchain, but we just need that blockchain solution is working, right? That's what we are at ProximaX, ensure that the blockchain solution that we're using is working properly. So if you were to use a blockchain technology, first you need to understand the blockchain technology, right? Then you need to be able to program on the blockchain and to understand that, and to then integrate that into a database solution and integrate again into some sort of file storage solution. And then you worry about, hey, is that file being stored in that cloud safe? Is the database safe? Right? You have worries, you have problems. You really need to architect the entire solution before you even architect application solution. So you have two steps to the application. First, the core, then application. And what we are then trying to do is take away the core, the worry of developing all these so-called components surrounding a blockchain, which is what we have done, which is what we have actually made simple for any developer to now then look at just the application design and development. So that's basically in a nutshell what the ProximaX Cirrus platform is all about. So as I said earlier, basically what we have here is that the application layer is where you develop your solution, your UI, your UX, however which way you want to do, and then we have a RESTful API for you to actually make use of to be able to develop your application. And that's when I said earlier, the utility layers, the blockchain layer, the streaming layer, the storage and the database layer, and some sort of super contracts that we're talking about. I will talk a bit more about it, and I'll let you know exactly where we're coming from when it comes with super contracts. And then, of course, we have the consensus mechanism that comes along with the public chain, but in the private chain is more of a proof of stake, so consensus mechanism. So we have two flavors. One flavor is the private chain, the other flavor is the public chain. Now the private chain is not what a lot of people would think it to be because it comes in a lot of sub-flavors. One is a private chain that is being owned by the, say, the enterprise operator of that chain, and therefore that chain and the nodes are managed and controlled by them. Now, a lot of we call it public chain maximalists are always saying, why do you need a blockchain technology that's privately enabled when traditional software solution can do the same? Fine, that's correct. I'm not going to argue about that. But what is most important at the end of the day is the cost of implementation. With distributed and decentralized technologies, we have very low cost of implementation, and that is where it becomes a valuable position to a lot of enterprises, which we will prove in a way. I'll give you some sort of example later why I have always been an advocate of using blockchain technology for the private chain. So coming from that direction, coming from the direction of as an entrepreneur, I see more things that a lot of people don't see, right? Especially those who support decentralized. I mean, I respect their opinion, but I do have my things how we should be doing as well, which is the private chain. So the private chain actually has a database, distributed database solution, not the public chain, because the public chain requires some sort of a consensus mechanism which the distributed database solution has got. So it's more so a private chain solution. The database has, or rather the private chain that we have can offer with a database solution. So that's why I see two flavors here. The private chain and the public chain. And the difference here is the distributed database solution. So, as you can see here, what we have is the ProximaX series platform, and I can't emphasize it more. It's a platform, it's not a blockchain per se. And then we have an API gateway server where we can actually now make use of applications that are being developed on top of that, whether it's in a cloud environment, whether it's, those nodes are distributed across in your house, in someone's house, in all the nodes that are found everywhere in the world. That is what the ProximaX series platform is. And that's where the gateway also sits in many of these places and allow us to develop mobile apps as well as desktop apps that we can make use of in our solution offering. Now, maybe I need to explain to you a little bit more about how and why applications can be developed. If you look at a typical application, say for example, a registration of customers coming into your website, right? Or even the website. First thing you need is a database. Next thing you need is some sort of storage to store your zip file, your image files, and whatever you need to store, right? So these are the two things. And then the third thing you need to do is a UI UX to develop your application. And then the fourth thing is to be able to communicate with your database as well as your file storage solution. That's a typical application. Of course, you have things like communicating and connecting to the payment gateway and whatever you need to integrate. So that's the traditional sense of doing things. Now, if you look at ProximaX, because you need a database, ProximaX has it. Because you need some sort of file storage, ProximaX has it. And what is different? ProximaX has blockchain technology embedded in there, as well as a streaming technology embedded in there. And the blockchain technology makes use of cryptography science. And in cryptography science, you have encryption, you have basically what we call digital thumbprint. I'm making it simple, you know, in the technical sense of it, it's a hash, right? A hash is basically a digital thumbprint. And with the digital thumbprint, you're able to make use of it to ensure that your data is immutable and irreversible. One thing. Two great things that come out of blockchain technology. Across our component, everything is immutable and irreversible. So, and because of that, that's where everything is strongly held. There's no problems with security, and there's no problems with being able to change records. So, as I said earlier, we have applications that we can develop. Now, what you see here is nothing new. It's already in existence in the old technology, right? Or I wouldn't call it old technology, current technologies, right? You can actually do a KYC process of management, right? You can do actually health, identity, IoT, and recording system. Why do you need to use a blockchain technology to do it, or in the ProximaX platform to do it, right? So, and then you have the ability for us to do data mining, big data, and machine learning. Yeah, it's all there, right? You don't need a blockchain technology. You don't need a blockchain enabled technology. You don't need a blockchain enabled platform to do it, right? So, what we are saying here is this. We are not here to reinvent anything. We're here to provide a solution with added security, as well as to provide a solution that is less expensive than what you get traditionally. That's what we are here for, right? So, in fact, blockchain technology, as they always been saying, distributed ledger technology, it's all about changing the environment in which program and applications can be developed, and changing the way how things are being done in the future. And this is what we're saying. With all the platforms that they're putting together, we can do this now, and therefore, although we're not a panacea of all solutions around the world, but at least we know that we have covered a huge industry, across all industries, instead of just one industry that blockchain is specifically targeting, which is financial industry. The financial industry makes use of blockchain technology for transaction, credit transaction. We are holistic in approach that includes the financial industry. So I think I've basically explained a little bit about the cost, which is primary to what we are offering, and a lot of other people in the landscape is offering. Then we are, as I said earlier, we have high security, we have high availability. Now, high availability is something that peer-to-peer technology can allow us to have almost 100%, if not 100% availability, in a very low cost again. Because if you want almost 100% availability, data centers that you have must be so redundant and so expensive to run to get 100% availability. That's what the industries today are always talking about, 99.99, 99.4, 95, 96, whatever the case may be. But they never say it's 100%. Or with peer-to-peer technology, and if there are enough nodes out there, you will have 100%, unless it's a global calamity, right? And as I said earlier, I'm actually summarizing what I've said earlier today, just now, which is an agglomeration of technologies so that we can put them all together so as to allow you to develop your applications and go out to market in the shortest possible time, and to allow you to develop your applications in the basically languages that you would use generally, and 80% of you would make use of Java, for example, JavaScript, C#, all those things. You could actually make use of your expertise in programming to use the platform to program your applications.
Of course, we have the public network. It's not like any other blockchain technology. We can actually make use of this. It's not owned by us. We are just basically the promoters of it to ensure that this technology roll out there and be rolled out by all the nodes and all the public owners of these nodes, and to be able to harvest or mine this ecosystem, mine from this ecosystem. And I think one of the greatest things that can happen other than low cost is that now entrepreneurs, programmers, developers, any one of them can actually now come on board and start working on it, get things going. Yeah? And that's where the value proposition is simple, cheap, and fast. So, and one of the greatest technology feature that has come out of the Catapult is the ability of the borrowers to start growing ecosystems within the NEM technology sphere. And what I've said here, what I've actually shown here is that while NEM can exist on its own, with its own ecosystem, ProximaX can also coexist. And so is any other company that uses NEM blockchain technology as a cluster of solutions that they have, and the ecosystem that they build in the cluster, all these clusters can come together one fine day and start to do cross-chain transactions. And this is where the beauty is about the NEM blockchain technology, that is allowing seamless cross-chain transactions. And that is already in existence today, and which means that at the end of the day, you have your own island or your own country of rule as private chain. You can have a public chain, you can have public chains, you can have all sorts of applications, all sorts of ecosystems, payment, logistics. Doesn't matter whatever you build out there, you have the ability to now do cross-chain transactions. And cross-chain transactions is where, for example, in my chain, say I have 5 coins of A, and in DK's chain is has 5 coins of B, and that we decided to exchange or decided to have coexistence. Then DK's chain can have my 5 coins of A in there and use that 5 coins of A to do whatever they need to do in that economy. So this is very important, and this is where the entire ecosystem is now become a mesh of many subsystems. So I don't think many chains out there are doing things like that, but this is natural. It is natural because we have not gone all out to do it, but we just put it in there in our solution as part of the blockchain technology. So I think in the absence of the quick industry adoption, because we are only 8-9 months old, we have decided that we needed to do some things to prove and showcase what we can do. And some of these things like know your customer is built upon the ProximaX series platform. The ProximaX suite is based on the Office application, which is the Microsoft Office applications suite, which again is a collaboration tool. Then we have basically filed it is something like how you do with the Dropbox, but this is all based on our platform, where most importantly, by default, every file is stored into the system or the platform encrypted. 1. 2, they're sharded. Sharded means they're broken into pieces, encrypted, and spread around all the nodes. So if you look at jigsaw puzzle, for example, it's like taking one piece and throwing it to this guy, that guy, and keep it in so encrypted. So nobody can actually recover other than the owners of it. And that's where the power is. If you look at how, by default, you store your file in Dropbox or in Google Drive, they're not encrypted, which means there's no privacy, which means a lot of things can be extracted without your permission, not this one, right? This is where the power is. This will not allow anyone to see anything, whether the file is shared with the person next door, the same logical drive, or physical drive, you know. But even if you sit next to each other, you can never recover because there's one small part, shard, one jigsaw puzzle is in that drive, whereas the 99 or 2,000 other shard pieces are all over the place, right? So this is where the file is very powerful. And then we have the vault. We use it to store your passwords or whatever secret codes that you have, you can actually, or password that you have in that vault. And the ProximaX notes is basically a note, you know, just like how you write a few words on a notepad sort of thing. And the other thing that's very important is the ProximaX forms. ProximaX forms is something that we will expand and develop into a huge project one day. Because with ProximaX forms, what we will be able to do is to be able to provide a solution to every industry again. If you apply for a lift application, you know what they're doing? What they're doing is you put in, whether it's on the computer, on the network, or whether it's on a piece of paper, you say, I want to go away on the 15th of February to 21st of February, make an application, and then we'll probably send it to the manager, who'll soon sign it off, and then the manager will probably pass it to HR to acknowledge and put it on records, right? So what it is doing is a workflow process. I give you a slightly more complicated application workflow process. Say you want to develop a building, and that building requires you to submit plans to the town council. And then the town council will go through various processes, right? And each process must be pre-approved or concurrently approved by certain departments within the council. And this is what we call a workflow process. And it can be a very convoluted process or a simple leaf application process. Whatever the process is, whether it's complicated, whether it's simple, it is a process. And in most of these processes, you need to fill in the form. You need to sign off the form. You need to put maybe pictures and enclose into the form. Or whatever evidence, whatever things that have been done, inclusive of, say, supply chain management, right? Where the logistics and handling everything is a form, is a process. Everything we do in businesses is a big, huge aggregation of processes and sub-processes. What we're doing is we're building a fundamental form that helps you build processes and processes. Just by making use of this form, you can be a process consultant. And then you do it, put it on, and then you are basically using that to, you know, to enhance your business. So, by the way, all these things, or most of them are extracted from the open source community. What we have done is open source is chuck it into our system, show it up as a showcase. And what it means is that any developer can actually make use of the open source, make use of our solution, and provide the application service. So very quickly, this is the KYC, right, that we have developed. This one is not open source. We've developed this, right? And we've developed this KYC in line with what the requirements are with KYC. And then we, as I said, the ProximaX suite, which is basically files that you can actually start to share with your colleagues. And then you have the filelet, which is basically your own directory that you can actually make use of the ProximaX series solution and put your files in there and store your files, whatever files, digital files. And then you have the wall. Like I said earlier, you can make use of your wall to put in all your passwords to all your your secret keys, everything, you can just put it in there. And the node, and the form builder, which is what we are talking about just now with respect to business processes. Now, this is basically the customers that we have and the partners that we have over the last 6-7 months. And we really started marketing in August, so last 6-7 months. One of the more important things that we did was this one here. Dragonfly FinTech was my original foray into making use of blockchain. But I had lots of problems. I had lots of problems selling them when I was at NEM. The problems I had with them in selling them is that the financial industry is always proving the technology, and it's a waste of time. I was very frustrated because every bank I go, yeah, we're looking into it. Every institution say, we're looking, we're testing, we're this, we're that, we're not sure. I think there's a lot of security issues that we are not sure of. Everything is negative, and I'm so frustrated. For 4 years, I've been so frustrated. But always at the back of my mind, there was ProximaX. And I decided that we do ProximaX. But more importantly, it's Dragonfly. So I decided last year to look at how we're going to make use of the ProximaX solution to develop a mobile payment solution that I first started off with. And when I first started off with mobile payment solution, I wasn't looking at transferring Bitcoin to you. I was looking at transferring $5 US to you, or $5 Australian dollars to you. We are talking about fiat mobile money, right? And this is where I put that into motion. And today, we've finished that, and we're cleaning up, and we are actually going to roll that out in one jurisdiction where we're licensed. And the cost, now this is the cost, right? The cost, the traditional sense of building a mobile payment system easily between $2.5 to $5 billion US dollars. We are almost negligible. It's negligible because it's just those few headcounts that work on ProximaX platform, make it easy. The rest of them, Pulsify is HR, SportsFix is digital stadium, BSC is some sort of green technology, Rocket Shoes is about education, right? Cash Card is some sort of e-commerce. So we have a variety of businesses that we actually power. One of the more important ones that we landmark, I call it landmark solution or landmark acceptance of our solution is the Ministry of Community Development in Dubai, where they actually make use of our solution to provision their services, right? And one of the greatest achievements that they've done is that to be able to provide this proof of concept within 2 weeks. And why? It's because of our ProximaX period. The platform just from there, write up the apps in 2 weeks. Now, if some of you are developers, you know that you can actually write apps in 2 weeks, 3 weeks, easy. Right? This is what we're talking about. So, I want to quickly run through this. The ProximaX series platform in its public domain is going to be run by 3 very important proofs. One of them proofs of stake, the other one is proof of storage, then the last one is proof of bandwidth. Together is proof of compilation aggregate. It's a combination, it's a mathematical relationship between these 3 proofs here to form the ProCard, right? And the ProCard is actually the proof of your existence, of your importance in the network. So it is a mathematical relationship between 3 proofs. These 3 proofs are what we're using for our cloud audit network as a consensus mechanism, and as well as I don't know how much you guys know, but long and short of it, proof of X, proof of work, proof of storage, proof of stake, whatever it is a mechanism for you to actually compete, to be able to mine money or cryptocurrency out of the blockchain network. So that's all it is actually. So the proof of work is you have big machines, you compete so that you can get the rewards from
I guess that's good point. When you first start, you have machines competing with each other. By competing, it's all provable. You prove that you're a great GPU, and you have a great system, you start fighting, competing for it. Yeah, for the reward. So I want to quickly end up this because I think being long with it, with what this is about. Okay, traditionally a smart contract, right? I've broken down this into a very simple presentation here. A smart contract is basically a function box where rules are made, where a decision tree is made, where all sorts of computation based on some inputs, where the final end result is some output, and it's all on chain. And because it's all on chain, then you can have thousands and thousands of all these function blocks running concurrently, whatever the case may be, and you bloat that chain, you cause problems to the chain, and the chain blockchain was never built for such thing for a variety of reasons, right? And to stuff this into the blockchain solution is asking too much, and that's where it's been proven many times. That's why I've never believed in smart contracts being put onto the blockchain and expect it to do wonders to our lives, right? But this is what it is. Input to a function box to an output. The function box is anything you want to define it to be, right? The input is anything that you want to use that is being defined by this, so that the output is basically, at the end of the day, is to sign any transaction that you actually output it to be. For example, sending five NAM coins to from A to B, sign off, right? Then it gets sent. So that's the output. And the complications is all within the function box, and it's on chain. So that's the traditional sense. As I say, it has its flaws, it has its issues. But what we are trying to do here with super contracts is that we're going to have function box. We're going to have everything the same, but we have the function box located in some storage, as a VM storage in some off-chain solution where ProximaX series platform is sitting on. The function box is sitting on ProximaX platform. And that allows us to do a lot more things. One, we don't bloat the blockchain. Two is that we are now using the blockchain to, the storage to be able for us to have consensus in changing the function box halfway through a contract. And that's the beauty. Say, if I make a mistake in my function box, like the failure of the DAO, for example, draining away money, right? Because it is immutable, irreversible contract that was put onto the blockchain, and now you're watching it lose money. You can't do anything about it other than forking it, which it did. Now this one here is that if you see a leakage, you stop it by consensus, because there will be a mechanism of consensus mechanism of the 5 parties, 6 parties that agree with this function box. So you can all stop it, and stop it, correct, but then launch a new smart function box onto the system, and then you have what we call a audit trail of all the function boxes that you actually put in for this super contract. And that's where it's different. And that's what we are trying to achieve now. I think we are seeing light at the end of the tunnel. We should be seeing something by the end of this year, where super contracts is going to be the new generation again in how you run smart contracts. We call it super contract because it's really super, right? And that's what it is. So this is where we will be able to make use of that contracts in our ProximaX series platform, hopefully by the end of this year. So I think I'm ending this this long-winded talk, but I was trying to condense it. But it's such great things. I get so excited I start talking and talking. But this is what you see: ProximaX tag papers. By the way, these tag papers are stored
in our ProximaX series platform. It is not hackable, which means you can't change it. It's cast in stone because it's immutable and irreversible, right? And it's a demonstration of our solution with these things stored in there. So this one is in here, and if you want to join us at our Telegram, that's the link. Please do join us, read about us, understand us, because there are lots of things that we can actually do there. So my experience, I want to quickly end up with my experience, okay? This is a long story. I'm trying to cut it short. Jeremiah is actually pushing me to finish up. Pizza is getting cold. This is my experience of what I've been doing. For some of you may want to do things that you want to do, you know, or want to carry out in blockchain industry. It's been a long journey for me, 6 years. I've been in this business. And for 6 years, for the first 2 years, it's all about discovery. And then, when I discovered that a lot of things can be done with blockchain technology, then I went in and ended up leading an organization where we became one of the top 5 blockchain projects in the world at its peak. And at its peak, and a couple of months after its peak, I decided to leave because I was, like I said earlier, I was frustrated not with the technology, I was frustrated with the industry, which is the financial industry, not doing any good to my goal of making sure everyone enjoys the use of the blockchain technology. So, and that's when I actually moved on to form ProximaX. So, but the journey has been, you know, has been long and rough. And I had to take it from zero, when I first took it out, it was 0.04 cents worth. Then I took it to 2.09 at its peak, 4,000. Sorry, 0.02, 4,000, sorry, 0.04, yeah, 4,000 times. If you put in $1,000, you would have got it $4 million in 2 years. And it was not easy because it was done amidst a lot of pressure, as well as having to seek consensus in whatever I do. Right? And consensus in whatever I do is where I have a lot of problems with, having to deal with that, having to control all these things, and having to manage a community. It is tough. But I actually went through it, you know. And my experience tells me that a decentralized control does not work. A decentralized technology works. So these are two things that a lot of people misunderstand the use of decentralized technology and decentralized control. A centralized control should be where the direction is for a lot of initiatives. But a decentralized technology is what things can happen, things can be. So this is my experience, and the end of it is that decentralized control does not work. Decentralized technology works well. And the centralized control works better. Right? So that's why ProximaX is modeled based on my experience in the last 6 years. I think I've ended my presentation. Thank you very much. Thank you very much.
Okay, thank you, Wong. That was a very comprehensive presentation on the ProximaX technology. So I think we've got the time left for Q&A. You can ask any questions you want, anything from use case, technology, name, journey, anything. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I just say something stupid.
Nothing stupid.
So you mentioned, you gave an example of money transfer. So if I have a friend and I transfer him $5, he can securely receive $5. But the cryptocurrency market in general is very volatile. So how do you expect the coin to be stable in a volatile market?
Okay, I mentioned mobile payment, right? And I mentioned the mobile payment solution, right? And I also mentioned that
this solution allows me to pay $5 from me to DK or Gemini, right? $5. I never mentioned anything about crypto. I never mentioned anything about volatility of crypto. What I'm saying is a solution that allows me to transfer $5 to Gemini, right? And that solution goes on the blockchain. That blockchain drives it. And to do that, I need to be licensed. If you are familiar with things like Alipay, what I'm saying is I have a solution built on blockchain like an Alipay, right? Nothing to do with the crypto except that the technology is different. This is exactly what I'm trying to say. So it is beautiful because it is inexpensive, ultra inexpensive.
Just an extension on that topic. When you're transferring currency, whether it be fiat, settlement times. Now that's one of the big issues that we're facing right now is that settlement periods are extended, and particularly when you're dealing with international transactions. How could ProximaX provide solutions like that?
Okay. If this settlement requirement, it means there's a settlement between two parties. Let's say, for example, Alipay and me. Again, my party is, let's say, Dragonfly, right? So that's settlement process, right? And that settlement process would have gone through because Alipay is based on the traditional sense of things, and mine is based on blockchain. We go through the traditional sense of settlement, way of settlement, right? But when it comes to a settlement between the merchant and receiving money, it is instant as the block time. So if it's going to be 15 seconds, you see it happening there in 15 seconds, right? In fact, depending on how you want to actually model in business, you can confirm the person as soon as you get a broadcast of the transaction, which should be 0.1 or 0.5 or 1 or 2 or 3 seconds. Immediately the merchant will see, okay, this is not confirmed yet, but I've received the money. And it's quite safe, right? And the risk factor is that since it's a $2 transaction, no worries, I'll just accept it. So the customer gets his food, gets whatever, right? But when it comes to settlement, there's another equation to it. Because if you look at multiple parties, multiple service providers, providing mobile payment services, and they need to be able to settle amongst themselves because this guy may be talking to this merchant, this customer here from this mobile payment service provider wants to pay to this mobile service payment providers merchant, so you need some sort of settlement, right? Again, this is where we can actually implement a settlement system over and above a mobile payment system. And the settlement system can be in seconds. Right? So it's a bit complicated. I don't know, I hope you understand, but it is a bit complicated.
No, that's fine. I know, I understand. The other thing too, just extending on that topic, is the super contracts. What was really interesting, you mentioned that you can pull the contract mid transaction if it was somehow faulty or losing money or whatever it may be. I work in the financial services, particularly in digital currency, so that is a very big interest to us because you know, we do have clients who are seeing these processes that are going through, and you know, how do we protect merchants, buyers and sellers, which was quite an interesting observation with the super contracts.
Yeah, I think it's, I've been looking at this contract. In fact, I first started off spending 6 months in Israel before I moved on to NET, right? And I've been introduced by, I cannot remember, I got very poor memory. In reality, maybe, but you know, the guy, what's his name? The guy who did the politics, you know, the website, young guy that they did a conversation. Yeah, that's right. Max is the one who introduced me to internet. This my 6 months there. So that was Max. You know, Max took me on, and I was spending 6 months there. I find that at the end of the day, it doesn't jive. You know, it is a great experiment. This is great technology. I don't deny the fact, but I am always looking at on
the practicability of putting such solutions in the mainstream market, it doesn't work. That's why this thing has come about. You must be able to control. As a central organization, you must be able to control all the processes, including smart contracts. And that's what has always been in my mind. It's not that I don't like this ceremony. It is a great experiment. It has many more years to evolve. And it will be a great thing one fine day. But I'm transient. I live for the day.
Any further questions?
Dictate.
So, how do you make money?
Oh, this is the basic guy.
That's actually the least important thing, that's okay.
Yeah.
I'm not that idealistic. Someone else.
That's a very good question, actually.
Yeah, so what's the business model? You have so many features in your system, and do you anticipate which channel will bring you more? And in each way, sometimes I think that maybe a project might be able to build it on B2B kind of level, or you consider B2C as your primary market. Please elaborate on this.
Okay, yeah, we're very flexible in it, and we want to be able to make sure this whole ecosystem and ecosystems that are being built on this is profitable to all parties, all players, right? And as far as we're concerned, we are now offering this platform as a service, right? With platform as a service, you will need to build nodes out there for your clients. There are two parts of it. It's the public. The public is different. The public is open source, have its life of its own. But the private chain is what we're trying to promote here, where you as a system integrator or applications developer will be able to develop applications on top of my platform and offer that as a service to your client. Or to roll it out as your service, right, to your B2B or B2C clients. And the making money is where the platform as a service that we are offering is going to be where the revenue generation is for us.
So do you charge a percentage of transaction?
No,
or
we
you just
don't.
provide a flat rate?
Flat rate, something like $3,000 a note, whatever, right?
Like a subscription?
Yeah, it's another subscription. It's platform as a service. So it's a service where like how you subscribe to Office 365, for example, right? And that's the bottom line. And for the system integrators, they can charge more because they would have written applications and have intellectual properties on top of that.
Thank you. And another one question. Did you consider any competitors just sitting over here and looking at some of my connections? I'm aware of one project called Buddy. I think they're from Germany. I'm not sure. They're not that blockchain based. Blockchain focused, I would say. They're very, very complex and also provide this kind of services for app builders. And there's another project called Insola. Maybe you can pick some others. Like, what's your main difference in compared to other your competitors? If you made this kind of research.
I think one of the greatest differentiating factors is, as compared to some of our competitors, is that we have a blockchain that's proven, and most of my competitors will probably be fiddling around with the right blockchain technology, which I know, and moving and changing technologies, which also I know. But we also have the oldest player in the industry, which is storage, right? But they are all storage, and they haven't transformed into a platform. What we are doing is to transform into a platform. And as far as market space is concerned, it's huge market space. It's a multi-billion-dollar market space. And having competition in the market is so early in the game that it's insignificant to even worry about that being a threat to me as a market player. Because as I go out there, I still get lots of inquiries. I get people interested in our solution. Maybe in Germany, someone else is interested. Everywhere there will be pockets of interest, right? And to be honest, honest with you, the real growth is in emerging countries. When I say emerging, we're talking about Southeast Asia, maybe sometimes the first world developed countries like Korea, Japan, maybe even China, Latin America. These are, and Africa. These are the places. The Middle East. These are the places. Well, we can actually basically say most parts of the world except North America and Europe is where these sort of technologies will be the ones that are going to drive the blockchain industry. Similar to fiber optics, right? USA, Europe never have fiber. Australia don't even have fiber. You go to China, everything is fiber, plastics and glass, right? So that's exactly what's happening. When you adopt new technology, new things come up. So we're not too worried about it because our concentration basically on emerging countries.
Any further questions?
Sorry, just I'm not quite sure I understand what makes the platform cheap for the consumer. Eventually, if you charge like 3,000 per node, it's comparable to like a cluster of servers to run normal applications.
Yeah, there are a few types of consumers, right? One is the enterprise class. Then there's the guys who the startups that can afford such things, right? Again, we can have what we call shared services, which means if you needed 10 nodes to run this thing, say for example, $30,000 a year, right? 3,000 per 10, you cannot afford it because you're a startup. You can't even afford to pay your own food on the table. That's okay, right? Because you could share the same service with Gemma's company, with Joe Blow, everyone, right? In the end, you pay $300. That's okay. But when you grow and become big and you say, I need my own network, that's okay. $30,000, I can pay. Then you own your own network. So what we are doing now is to be able to make sure that there's shared services that you can actually share with the rest of the industry players who cannot afford such things. And we will grow, for example, we can put it in AWS with you, or we can put it in Azure so that you can actually come online through there, just sign, click, $300. The service is yours. And then you can start developing on it. So this is how we work the model. Thanks.
I just have one question. So you talked about the blockchain, it's not kill a blockchain that they're on. The big difference, Bitcoin developers since 2011, big difference is actually how we do smart contracts. And if everybody knows that there's a key difference between how EC20 smart contracts work and how the Bitcoin blockchain contracts work. How does your smart contract work from a mathematical perspective? I know you can't answer that for me, but can you actually give me a paper? Is there anything out there? Because as I said, the key two differences actually come down to recursion and come down to what you can and can't do, right? Which actually means that that contract is immutable or not immutable. When you're talking about placing another layer on top of that is where I'm finding it really interesting. Are you tapping in? Like you cannot have a blockchain without a smart contract. Are you tapping into that? Do you have any proof of concept around the maths of your smart contract?
Well, the maths of the smart contract stays within the smart contract. What we are doing is actually providing a platform where you can do all sorts of gymnastics with your smart contract. It doesn't matter. At the end of the day, how are you going to execute the smart
That
contract?
makes it more insecure. There's a reason that we couldn't.
Hey. Mike.
Sorry, I don't like being quickly yelled at.
No, that's fine.
Just too quick.
I'm just saying if you want to talk,
Yeah, just
talk
don't
Mike.
wait. Sorry, that was a trip left to Phil. Yeah, so as I said, what I'm, there is, when you're saying that you can allow anything to happen, one, mathematically you can never allow anything to happen. Two, yes, mathematics does obey the inexorable laws of imagination, but you know, there's theoretical maths and there's practical maths.
Yes.
So what I want to understand is, from an algorithmic perspective, right, have you actually done a proof of stake on the algorithmic perspective? Because I can look at the algorithmic concepts in EC20 coin and in the Bitcoin, and that's why I'm just curious, and I seriously am curious from a maths point of view, what you're trying to do there with the smart contract. And as I said, you might not be you're not the right, that's the question for me, but I'm just wondering if there's any papers or anything around that?
Not exactly, because it's at the end of the year, but we've done some works on it. What we are actually doing here is to simplify smart contracts, and mathematically how it's going to be run and how it's going to execute is based on inputs and outputs. Inputs means inputs into a function box, which is smart contract, right? So how does that work mathematically is how the inputs are mathematically computed as a separate smart contract in itself in another manner. So it is basically a digital logic function boxes that we can actually put into the system to make it so complicated, so mathematically and algorithmically conjured or even defined, right? Well, what I don't understand is that we should not, as an engineer, we should never complicate matters in life. What is the outcome? What are we going to do? And how is it secure? How is it being secured as a solution? It's not about my rocket science is better than your rocket science, and therefore I'm better than you. It's about the ability for us to bring this technology in its simplest form so that all of us can make use of it in the most practical manner. And the smart contract that I've been defining is a function box where it's consensus driven, where inputs define the outputs, and where the outputs drive transactions that ends in a value being transferred between two parties. And that's exactly what it is. How is it going to be breakable? Depends on how we can actually change the inputs to influence the function box and make the function box come out with the wrong answers and therefore make the transaction incorrect. And that's gaming the function box. Now, to game the function box is about gaming the inputs. To game the inputs, do we need to put in some intelligence in there? Do we need to control the inputs? And this is where, again, it is entirely up to how the user or business will define the function box to ensure that the inputs will be foolproof against fraud. And how where mathematical functions can be integrated in the inputs or in the function boxes. And the function box here is what I've been talking about as being the smart contract that is stored in the storage, and where the storage here can be overwritten by another smart contract by a consensus mechanism, and this consensus mechanism is being defined by the parties to the original function box, now the change in the function box, to replace the old function box that is faulty or that has a problem with the inputs, so that the transaction output was wrong. And the new function box is now redefining the outputs and redefining how the input should be treated. So I think we should not be too confused with all the mathematical algorithms, or are they in existence? Whatever we define, it could be, we can define in a function box. That's what I'm saying.
And so what you've just described, with the parties to the contract form consensus to change the contract, why is it not possible to program that now in Ethereum?
As I said earlier, it's possible. And as I said earlier, that we're not putting it on the blockchain because it's immutable, it's irreversible,
and therefore it is also blocking the Ethereum blockchain, and we're not certain whether Ethereum blockchain can take it into eternity. What we're saying here is that we are putting it onto the storage. It's a different method of putting it, and if it fails, right, we can change it. If it doesn't fail, right, it can go on forever. We're not saying that the smart contract or the super contract that we're doing here is something that is not achievable with Ethereum. What we're saying is that we don't want to bloat the blockchain. We want the blockchain to influence, right, your outcome. You just imagine this. I'm a bank, Westpac, whatever, 1 billion, 2 billion, 5 billion, 100 billion worth, whatever it is, I'm a bank. Now I rely on Gemma, my solidity programmer, who's going to determine my company. If I fail, I'm screwed, big time. Will I ever run my smart contracts on a chain like what you just said? Or never as a business. You must understand, we're talking about using technology for business, and you must understand that if they're using technology for proof of rocket scientists, right, then it's a different story. I come from the business perspective of using technology to power my businesses. If you ask me about technology, then it's a different thing altogether. We can talk until the cows come home. No point. Because this is where I'm looking at, and that's where they're forcing ourselves in that direction.
Okay, I think probably spend enough time sitting down and listening to Wong talk. So yeah, thank you, Wong, and yeah, let's feel free to support working with